we've been hearing so much of a buzz about Gen AI, agentic AI, DeepSeek every day of the week, every day in some cases. There's something new in the industry. But if we take a step back, we do recognize, and everyone recognizes, while agentic AI and Gen AI is definitely not a fad, it relies a lot on data, all kinds of data. Structured data, unstructured data, dark data, operational data, business data, analytical data. You name it, that's what it's relying on. We've been speaking about the promise of data and getting value out of data for a very, very long time, almost as long as my career, at least, which is 25 plus years. But it's still a promise. It still feels like a promise. Is it so, though? I do believe, like at PivotX, we say there is an opportunity for us to become more data centric, not just data driven, which means embedding data into every function, interaction, application, and system. But what does it take for us to realize the promise of AI, realize the promise of data? We don't want to be preaching here. We want to hear from diverse industry voices, and we're going to hear from them every month. That's what Data Redefined podcast is all about. Welcome to this journey along with us. Maggie, it's so nice to see you. Let's get started with why don't you give us a little bit about your background and also about your journey at Pentaho.
Pentaho was started back in the days of big data and analytics. And since then, it's continued on that data trend. However, it's picked up new capabilities and new missions along the way. About 10 years ago, Hitachi acquired Pentaho. And coming into the portfolio here at Hitachi, it's been able to expand it from its original roots to get additional capabilities like data cataloging capabilities. It has also been focused on some data operational capabilities and IP, in addition to working with lots of different types of data, from structured and unstructured to also edge data, which is super important here around the Hitachi environment as we look to bring IT and OT together. So all of that has brought us to a place really where Pentaho has met this moment, right? This moment, it's all about AI. So making data ready for AI it's just really the perfect time for Pentaho. And so we've been focused over the last 2 years since I came into the business on integrating these capabilities into a platform that can help our customers along that data and AI journey. Now, I'm not necessarily new to data and AI. I've been here at Hitachi for about 6 years, but prior to that, I was in management consulting, right? Helping customers with growth, organic growth, and a lot of my work was in data, right? Like it was data-driven recommendations, right? So no newbie to the challenges of working with data, right? To find the insights, right? Back 20 years ago, we were doing it in Excel and databases and just a lot of manual work. And so this evolution to where we are today, where data can really automate most of that kind of prep work so that you can get to the insights, the decisions, the so what's faster. So it's nice to have been kind of focused on the end results of that early in my career, and now we can make that easier for our customers as we think about that when we're architecting vision and how to really show up and help businesses transform.
Oh, very fascinating journey. Now, when you talk to customers, what are their biggest concerns today? What's keeping them up at night in today's day of AI, Gen AI, and over time as well?
Yeah, so there's a lot to keep our customers up at night. I think, data and AI, it's enormously exciting, but under the hood, there's a ton of challenges. And then you mix in with that the enormous pressure that comes with the top-down mandates to drive AI innovation. So our customers are the chief data officers, the chief analytics officers, many times being responsible for delivering AI. So you think about high pressure right now, they're living it. And really, when it comes down to kind of what makes it scary, what's keeping them up, it's the same data challenges that they've been seeing for a long time, but it's just being amplified, right, with the volume of data that's coming in, right? Data is growing exponentially with the types of data. So, traditionally just had to worry about structured data, just get the data out of the systems, organize it, right? But now we've got unstructured data that's come onto the scene, and that's a whole new animal, right? So getting that, ready for prime time, big deal, right? So you've got, and then it's the velocity. So much of this data is just continues to keep, created at such a scale from so many different places. So anyway, I think the culmination of that leads, data officers to, who are responsible for making things happen, really just get focused back to the basics, right? So it's data quality. How do we make sure that we've got the highest quality data so that can be used for the use cases or for whatever insights need to be driven, and then making sure you've got access to the right data wherever it lives. So those are the data pipelines, right? Or do we have the right things set up to bring that data together, make sure it's trusted and of high quality, so it can be delivered. So those are what's on folks' mind these days, and it's a journey. And for those that started a long time ago, they're in good shape. But for many, if you're jumping the chasm to try to hit AI without kind of doing the basic work, you're going to be in trouble.
It's also fascinating that you say all types of data, because Pentaho is uniquely positioned to combine IT and OT data, and OT data also has exploded over the last few years. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, it sure has, right? It's we've been fortunate to have early peaks at that, because again, within Hitachi, there are so many businesses that we work with internally that may have data on transformers, right? Sensor data coming off of rails, or so we've been working with that type of data. But what we see is it's edge data that are coming off phones, all this information that's really readily available to pinpoint and really personalize insights, right, that are coming in, whether it's a business that's got more of a consumer orientation, or the businesses that have their information that they need coming from the edge. So it's an exciting opportunity. I think being able to figure out how to use it, what to use from it, really doing just the basics on that type of data is where really what's there to be unlocked right now for a lot of companies.
So a lot of people might remember Pentaho because of your kettle roots, because of the BI product that first got launched. But I know, having worked with you and the team, that you've done a lot of innovation over the last couple of years since you've taken the the leadership role in setting strategy for the company. Can you unpack what you mean by building out the platform from a Pentaho perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, we've had a lot of point solutions around the business, right? And really pursuing a lot of different objectives. So data cataloging, having a ton of capabilities in that product line. We actually had 2 data catalogs, so we had a lot of features to pick from in terms of what we wanted to bring into more of an integrated end-to-end use case. So those are things like metadata management. Those are things like data lineage. Those are things like data governance, right? These capabilities that if you want to know your data in a very smart and intelligent way, and that make sure you have the right type of data, you're going to need the intelligence about the data. So all those capabilities, again, being very intentional around how we pull them together for more integrated use cases. I think what we see in the market today is, again, companies that have grown with a very functional focus. And so today, to make data work, it's really about the horizontal use case. Can you see it? Can you discover it? Can you understand what it's doing? Can you move it to the right place? And can you deliver it to maybe the right consumer, whether that's a person or a machine, and do that in a smart and simple way? That's been the focus in the journey here over the last couple of years, as we've got to pick from all these great features and really architect them in a way that makes sense for today's workloads.
No, that's wonderful. And I also know you were at the Gartner conference very recently. How does your roadmap align with what you heard at the conference, and what excited you the most?
It it was back to basics actually. It would there while AI is a big deal right now because the promise of all the innovation that can come, the efficiency can come. What's very clear is that data is the number one blocker to successful AI. So
Mm,
I was very pleased to see, the agenda really curated around the fundamentals, right? And getting the fundamentals right and the importance of doing that. And so that was a thread pulled all the way through the Gartner conference, which is got to be trusted data, got to be quality data to
mm,
even begin thinking about how agents are going to consume or how
mm.
the AIs are going to run things. So I think just a really relevant message for where we are right now. Get your house in order, get the fundamentals in order, so that you can move quickly on the AI journey when it's the right time.
Yeah. So the more things change, the more they remain the same. The
Pretty much,
problems are the
pretty
same.
yes. I think for those that have been in the business for a while in data, that's what we're hearing.
Are any of these problems new because of AI?
I would say, mainly no, right? It's
Mm,
there's no shortcuts to quality data, right? There's no shortcuts to send it. I think some of the nuances that are new, right, might be more machine consumed data. So when you
mhm,
take the human out of the loop, you still need to have the fundamentals right, but how you use it and the consumption of the data, making sure that you're ready for that. I think that is a wrinkle and a newness, and also getting the data citizens of the organizations
mm,
prepared for that for new types of data consumption. So there's that both like a people and a machine output, that's I think we're talking about a little bit more given where we are, but the whole how do you do it, why do you do it, what are you
mm.
doing, a lot of that is very similar to what it's been.
Great. So my final question to you: keep Maggie, the CEO of Pentaho, aside, but you are a business builder at heart,
Yes.
right? So wearing your business builder hat on, how do you think about data and AI as you build the business, as you grow the business, set strategy, and drive to that success?
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's one of the fun parts of the job, right? So it's we're in the business of data and AI, and we get to also drive that through the business ourselves. So, as a small company growing and scaling up, one of the things we're very focused on is how do we use AI to scale ourselves, right? So, again, it's maybe not about putting more human resources into the mix to do what we normally would open up 5 recs if we need to do this activity. Now it's like, okay, how do we do this with AI? How do we do this with the data? So we're asking the questions about how do we build a business that's growing based on the data and the AI versus, the old mentality, which is like, we just got to put another person to go do this task.
Mm,
So, part of that has mean getting our entire business running on Pentaho, right?
mhm,
So all of it, the analytics, the master data, the cataloging, right? So our foundation is firm and solid, and then using, kind of AI for those. For us, it's really about revenue growth, finding those use cases that are important for our business, and using AI to better help us scale up. So that's, again, knowing that you have that in your toolkit, it's been a good way, I think, to drive and scale up in a very efficient way.
That's great. So you're looking at retooling the entire approach to running your business with a data
That's right.
first, AI first approach, and then the role that humans will play in that
In
in that
that
operating
ecosystem.
model. Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Great. It's always so much fun talking to you, and being a part of this journey along with you and your team in growing Pentaho. Thank you so much, Maggie, for this conversation, and we'll stay in touch. Happy birthday once again.
Thank you, Purnima. Great to be here. Good luck.